And then they're getting the message out on the low interest rates, which
Yeah.
is available, but it's not well advertised, and it's not even talked about much from the high levels of political life.
Yeah, but an awful lot of people are barely able to afford their own homes.
Right. So consequently, that's available, but they're not really pushing it. So the real estate ads did try to appeal prices, opportunities to get what you want, maybe at a lower price, and lowest financing in years.
Yeah.
And so it's an alternative sale rather than saying pick out the home of your dream. They're saying you can get it at the lowest rate you've ever seen.
Well, I have to tell you, in all candor, if I heard some real estate person on the radio sprouting a jingle about buying your house from them, I don't think I'd pay much attention to it.
Well, I wouldn't. Yeah, that's why I'm surprised. It has not been the top market area for the media.
No,
for them
I wouldn't think so.
So that
used to be newspapers.
Yeah, entirely newspapers. And I noticed, and I've been the same as you, observing the number of full-page ads and what companies are keeping full page and where the houses are located and so forth. And the major newspaper here for real estate advertising is the Post in this market.
Oh, sure.
In the market.
Yeah. But it has shrunk.
It has
greatly.
Shrunk. What's really, some companies are keeping the full-page ads, and I could mention the name, but anybody can see it.
Yeah.
Which is surprising to me because for 1 week or two, or a month or two, they started moving out, kind of like they were not advertising. Maybe there were smaller ads and so on. But these are full-page now. I think they apparently have good funding, and they're trying to get things moving sales-wise. So who's going to replace the advertising if our newspapers are doing what they're doing? If you need the advertising to get to the people, we know the newspaper goes into a home. We know that because if they have a subscription, and that was a good advertising source for real estate particularly. But now, if they're going into the radio, a lot of people don't listen to the radio except when they're traveling.
Yeah, I turn it on in the car, that's it.
That's it for me too. So you miss all that time. It's an hour a day in the car, so.
Although I do listen to the internet radio.
You do?
I honestly do, yeah.
I know, it's amazing but you know, the time it takes, and this is something that I can't understand too about this popularity of the internet. I see the blurbs there to spot a story, and it just happened where someone was found in a lake in a suitcase or something. It was a real story.
No, that's what you look for, isn't it?
Yeah, it was on there. And there was a child that had been missing for a while. So to get that story, though, you have to go into the data to get move it around.
You have to go to the actual newspaper site that produced it.
Yeah. And by the time I get doing that, my wife probably thinks I'm playing on the computer, and here I'm trying to get the news, you know.
Yeah.
So, but when I have the newspaper and have it right here at breakfast, she knows I'm getting educated with the news.
Well, I do both.
I'm going to miss them.
I get the Post and I get the New York Times at home, and I read them both in the morning. Although the Post rather is getting more and more disappointing. There's no local coverage in it at all anymore that's worth anything. But I go online every day and I read 2 British newspapers.
Oh.
Now I actually pay for one of them, the Guardian newspaper, because I get an absolute facsimile of the paper on my screen. It's just like sitting there with it in my hand, virtually, and I click on the story, and the story will get bigger, and I can zero in and read it, and it's unbelievable.
Well, I've got to try that. Now, they all have that?
Most of them. I know the London Times has it, the Guardian has it. Those are the 2 that I read, and the Independent. The Independent has it. Those are the papers that I read in the UK.
And they look like a newspaper.
Oh, yeah. Now, I pay something like $15 a month to have it, the Guardian. They call it their digital edition. Well, the New Yorker magazine. You know, if you're a subscriber, I get it for free. I can get the New Yorker magazine online, the digital edition, that absolutely duplicates the printed edition.
And that's free.
Yep, and you just, well, it is if you're a subscriber.
Yeah.
If not, you pay something per year. And you just go from page to page to page. I'm fascinated by this. I've become a computer aficionado in my dotage.
Well, you know, John, did you mention any of that when you were actually permanently operating the newspaper? Did you let people know that you were fascinated with this internet stuff?
No, I used to, as a matter of fact, I wrote columns complaining about the internet. But as our younger people here would appreciate, when I was actually in the newspaper business, I had a dial-up connection, you know, on the telephone. Now I have broadband. So it's a whole different world. Do you have broadband?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I went through that period of time. Well, when I got my first computer, I didn't know how to use it. And of course, broadband later.
Your first computer, that was the one that Marconi released, wasn't it?
Well, really, it was probably IBM, you know, and IBM's
Okay.
that laid off all 90,000 workers up here. And
what year did you get your first computer? Do you remember? It was about 1990?
Yeah, it was, 91.
Had DOS and Windows 3.1.
Well, I was at the office, I had mine then, but I didn't get one at my home until 93.
93, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was still Windows 3.1, yeah.
Probably so. But now...
you notice how I could talk the jargon there.
You're good at it. I wish my son should be here conversing with you.
No, it's easy to talk to you about it because you can't argue with me if I'm wrong.
I wouldn't know any better. Now all I see is my sons, two of my sons have laptops at the desk, laptops in the car,
Yeah.
or a spare laptop, and even have my son in Annapolis, he has copying machines there in his house, and by the time he walks in the morning, he's done a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, that's it.
And never got to the office.
It's a whole new world.
Yeah, it's amazing, John. I think probably we ought to conserve our thinking to some of the joys you had in journalism, some of the fun days.
Yeah.
Things you knew and saw that maybe didn't hit the newspaper.
Well,
I'm talking about politically or...
37 years here, I've seen politicians of various statures. I have to say, when I first got here, it was a totally different, you remember that as well. It was a totally different kind of politician.
Absolutely.
I mean, there were some really first-class people out there. And we still have first-class people, but they're, you know, there's fewer of them.
It's a different world.
It is a totally different world. People that run for the city council, for example, and you know they're only doing it as a stepping stone to something higher.
Sure.
In the old days, that wasn't the case. There was a little bit of it, but not much. And usually these people were sort of pressured by others to move onwards and upwards, whereas today these people jump into the city council with no other intention than onwards and upwards. It's just, and you get cynical. You can't help get cynical. It's all ego-driven.
I agree.
You know, we discussed on our last couple of shows the Prince George's County delegation to the General Assembly and that bill to give the city a little bit more zoning authority, a little bit more say over its own future. And you see where it went. It went nowhere. You know, the politicians in Upper Marlboro you know, I remember people like Paris Glendenning and Winnie Kelly and even Bill Gullett, the Republican county executive, Larry Hogan Jr. These people towered over what we have down there now. Frank Francois on the county council. You know, I mean, these were really distinguished people. Sure. And now look what we've got down there now. You know, they can't even sit down and coherently deal with this soccer stadium. You know, I read the paper, in the Post, the story about the chairwoman running away and this one doing that. For heaven's sake, they don't even know what they're doing. They really don't know what they're doing, and it's just, it's depressing to watch that.
Yeah, that particular issue there was absolutely embarrassing.
Embarrassing
to me,
right.
As a citizen of the county, and should have been embarrassing to the rest too. And the people.
No, they don't get embarrassed very easily because they're too thick.
Yeah, there were people there to actually make public comments.
I know it, and they were shooed away.
Yeah, and they weren't even advised why they did it. And of course, today's story is they did come up with apparently after, I guess, some arm twisting or whatever. They say they're not going to approve the state study on the soccer stadiums. Soccer stadium people say we're going to check other venues.
Fine. Who needs them? It wouldn't even produce that much revenue anyway.
Oh,
but that Bert is a shining example of what's going to happen. If the newspapers just crumble, who else is going to look into the Jack Johnson administration except a local newspaper? Who else is going to keep tabs on issues like that?
That's right.
And if the newspaper doesn't have the resources or the staff to keep an eye on these self-centered politicians, they're going to get away with all this stuff. And who's going to be hurt? We are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taxes will go up. You know, development will overshadow everything.